It's not real. It's not real. It's not real. It's not real! Now, I know that Spice and Wolf has been praised to death by everybody in the anime community, but I've never really gotten around to watching it. To be honest, I just thought it was blatant zoophilia from some of the stills that I've seen. Also, the anime community has trouble understanding basic human decency, so I don't put it past them to promote some very weird garbage. But now that they've ported it into virtual reality, I can literally go into the show itself and play it without sitting in front of my computer for 7 to 8 hours and just looking at it. Okay, well, at least like half literally, because while my mind will be in the game, my body will still be flopping around in our average world. But for the Saw fans who are screaming that I need to watch the anime first or I won't understand anything and it's a cultural masterpiece that needs to be looked at, to them I say, Steam didn't mention anything about needing any previous information about the series, and it clearly says that it's an evolution or something even greater. So I'm going to base my future knowledge of this series solely on this game. I will never have to research anything about this show other than what the game provides. Glad we got that out of the way. Now, let's pet this wolf and put spices on her or something. I don't really know what this show is about at all. Okay, you start and the first thing that you notice is that you don't have one hand. And then you get sat on. Okay, not exactly my fetish, but I'm liking it so far. Aside from the missing hand, that I really can't get used to. But apparently it's more of a sitting experience, because if I start getting too far from the bench, it starts to get dark. Kinda like when I try to sit up with low blood pressure. Isn't the whole point of VR to escape reality, not be succumbed to your physical faults? But story-wise, the stuff that they talk about in the beginning is really boring. I had more fun playing around in the menu than experiencing this VR animation. Two characters enter the stable because it's raining and they need to take cover. What continues is crappy banter that you might have with a random friend. Yes, somehow even worse than my banter with a guest at the beginning of Weird Wars. So, you worked at McDonald's, right?
Yeah, I worked at McDonald's for like half a year.
You have a Minecraft skin?
Do I? Yo.
There's no explanation of who anybody is, or any hints to what's happening in the story. Nothing at all. So if you're a newcomer, you're properly screwed. And even without knowing who anyone is or what's going on, this doesn't seem like a story at all. More like a filler than anything. Then chapter 2 starts up with a Looney Tunes style fade to black and whoa, it looks cozy. But who cares? This time the topic that they're talking about is a bit clearer because it's about food. Man, I'm a bit of a well-known foodie myself. But there's not much in there. It's just shallow character development by making it seem like the wolf girl is constantly hungry and likes sweets. The next chapter is about opening up a shop and dealing with currency exchange from different lands, and after that weird dream sequence they just get up and leave. You might think that I'm skipping over a ton of stuff and it has more story in it, but no! All of it takes around 15 minutes to get through from start to finish, and the game costs 20 bucks. Bruh! If you're an English-speaking person, then good luck keeping up with the subtitles, because reading them here feels like trying to drive a car while reading a newspaper. Oh, don't worry, I'm only driving in VR. See? There's constantly talking, but it's much harder to read, because instead of a little box to notice, now something could be happening anywhere around you, and your vision can't keep up with all of it. But honestly, you can just skip over every single piece of dialogue, and you won't miss anything important. Which is kind of good, because she has the ability to block subtitles with her freaking body! So, from this VR experience, I learned that the story is about a white-haired boy who is followed by a little whining baby fox human girl who got some ego problems. This is so close to being a babysitter simulator. But now, we have unlocked the interactive mode. Time to get spicy! This is the part that most people are looking forward to because you can do stuff with the wolf, which boils down to head pats, more head pats, more head pats, and even more head pats. I did get to the tail at one point, but that was pretty much the highlight of my day. You still can't walk around, but you can look at stuff and hold up your hand, and then use your Jedi Force powers to make her react to the thing that you're pointing at, like that broken ladder, for example. Yeah, no shit. Me too, it's a VR game. Just go the f up. There's like one broken piece there. Bitch, I'm trying to use the force here. Outside of achievements, there isn't anything else to do here. And even those are very shallow, as in pet her quickly so she gets mad, or pet her slowly so she likes it, and other very simple stuff. You can complete everything in around 5 minutes. So like, now what? I thought that we were going to get a good anime-based game for once, but it's yet another quote-unquote girlfriend simulator, where you just give out head pats and ogle at her. But this one doesn't even have a patch for the saucy stuff, if you know what I mean. Though I'm not sure if you'd even want that because she looks like 12. I went on Steam to look up how to do one of the achievements and goddamn how the community is divided, but not for the right reasons. Mostly it's divided between the "why does she look so young, I want to fuck her but it feels so wrong" faction and "she's a 1,000-year-old goddess, I want to fuck her" faction. Aside from the guy who asked to hit her, but what kind of a monster would even think of doing something like that? Die, 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 die! Oh yeah. Now, throughout this whole video, I've had this nagging pain in my ear, and
just watch the anime, of course you're not gonna know anything. You just have to watch the masterpiece that is Spice and Wolf.
Okay, so I will watch it, but only because I don't want to hear any more freaking comments about "oh, you haven't seen it. You should watch it because it's better. You can't judge a book by its anime's game adaptation." Well, that was interesting. She looks different in the show and the guy is much older. But what I did realize when coming back to the game after seeing the anime is that the banter means nothing at all. They already loosely repeat the stuff that happened in the anime and most likely in the light novel. Like in the game, they talk about cooking bread with raisins in it, but in the anime they just talked about cooking bread with apples in it, or making like an apple pie. So I guess this actually is kinda original. Or at least original by YouTube standards, I mean. Oh goddamn, what is it now?
Dude, you really got to cover the light novel because the anime doesn't cover anything. You're gonna miss out so much if you don't do it.
I am so fed up. Okay, I have a better idea.
Last summer, I posited that adaptations need to change things about the stories they're trying to tell in order to work properly.
So I watched Mother's Basement video on it, and it still doesn't hold up. Both the show and light novel are about character development, adventuring, and interesting discourse. Here, it literally seems like you could replace them with anyone else, and it would still work as well. They didn't have any unique spiciness between them, and it didn't feel like this special moment that could happen mid-adventure, but instead felt like a robot's interpretation of what such a moment would feel like. Now, the insane part here is that they crowdfunded it and asked for 8 million yen, and what they got was 31, or almost 31 million yen. Now, what did you do with that money? As a game, it's non-existent. The interactive parts aren't even that interesting, and the actual gameplay lasts 5 minutes at max before you run out of things to do. And as a VR anime experience, it's also pretty useless. If you've seen the anime or read the light novel, then this won't offer anything new to you. It's just basic banter that you've already covered in the show or book. But if you're not a fan of the series, then you just literally won't understand anything that they're talking about, aside from the girl being insufferable for no apparent reason. I feel like I would have been super disappointed if I watched the anime beforehand and then knew that a VR adaptation was coming, because it's not like they didn't have the opportunity to create an immersive VR anime game. There's a ton of possibilities to create a game, even a shallow one, around a universe such as Spice and Wolf. What about the simple trading game where you travel from one city to another while listening to similar banter in the wagon? I'm not asking for much here, I'm just asking for a slight glimmer of a story, something with a beginning and an end, not just, oh, let's go to a barn because it's raining and talk about inconsequential bullshit. But on the other hand, I do have to congratulate you guys because you did it. You achieved something unique and special that I don't think anybody else has done in this community before. You're the first one to create an anime VR filler experience. God